community has been criminalized. We talked about that earlier. Derek Harris was a drug addict. This brother was sick. But they don't put millions and millions of dollars into our community to give us the necessary resources to deal with that, like they do the opioid epidemic. See, once it started happening to white people, then they started, doing the right thing when it relates to this. Because one thing you have to understand that in America, black people have been denied. We have been denied our humanity ever since the beginning of this chattel slavery system. And the reason is because for over 400 years, America has been at war with black people. We don't like to look at it in terms of that, but as soon as the first African was taken out of the motherland and forced to be enslaved under this system of chattel slavery, where they were considered to be property, where their where their children could be ripped away from them, where they could be murdered, where they could be lynched, where they could be whipped, beaten, where the women could be raped, where the men could be raped, where the children could be raped. As soon as that happened, we have to understand this clearly. That is an act of war. Don't get it confused, brothers and sisters. That is an act of war. And one of the first things that you have to do when you go to war with a people is you have to take away their humanity. Because in order to justify what you got to do to these people, to justify being able to just going out and indiscriminately murdering these people, oppressing these people, all of these crimes against humanity, you have to tell yourself, well, look, these people ain't really human, They deserve it. It's justified. It's okay. That's why they call the Native Americans savages. That's why they call African people savages. Say that we were heathens over in Africa. That's why we have a negative perception of ourselves and our history right now. Because our humanity has been denied for over 400 years in this country. So, let me bring this back to what we're talking about right now, because we're talking about the war on drugs. And we talked about how in black communities, crack cocaine and drug addicts were demonized. But when white opioid drug addicts are dealing with the same type of situation, See, America recognizes the humanity in these people, and they correctly categorize this as being a health issue. So we got to get these people help. We have to pour resources into this problem. As for black people, we just got to put police on the street. We got to strengthen the crime bills and the laws, and we got to lock these people up because our humanity has been denied. But like I said, Derek Harris was a drug addict. He needed help. And he didn't get help. The system failed him. And to put all of this in perspective, that because of the war on drugs, which is a justification or an excuse for a war on black people, in a justice system that is based on the exploitation of black people, of all people really, but especially black people, and not about the betterment of our people in society. This brother, which is a war veteran, a brother who risked his life, a brother who went out into battle for this country, not to preserve freedom, but actually to preserve some oil field for some rich white men. But he risked his lives, taking the lives of other individuals for this country, only to return home and not get the resources and support that he needs to deal with his health medical issue. And because of this system that is based on the exploitation of people, this war veteran is sentenced for life in prison without the possibility of parole for $30 worth of weed. Free the man.